Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Realistic Leadership Channel by yours truly, George McGee. Again, where the purpose of this channel is to get you promoted, is to get you more stress free at your job, and also to realize that leader potential in you. We're talking to all leaders, no matter what sector you are in. Now, today, we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about a subject called rebuilding your brand. Rebuilding your brand. Okay. In earnings calls last week, executives from McDonald's, Starbucks, Airbnb, and Disney um, were a bit puzzled, quite a bit disappointed, and really trying to find out what they're going to do after their earnings release. All four of these companies, iconic in each of their own ways, basically have not met the standard for their quarterly goals. So, if you have a rebranding problem, whether you work for these companies, whether you work for McDonald's, Starbucks, Airbnb, or even Disney, tune in. Here in a second, we're going to go over 6 quick ways to rebrand your company and come back better, and or rebranding your leadership and come back better. Some people will say, well, George, you're talking about companies versus leadership. Strangely enough, they work is remarkably the same. All right, let's get into the first one. Remind yourself of your why. You hear me talk a lot about know your why, know your why, know your why. And this is the first time I've mentioned remind yourself of your why. Here's the reason why. Strangely enough. Most of the time, companies or leadership lose their way because they have stopped doing something that got them there, which means they have forgotten their why. Either it could be money, notoriety, benefits, things of that nature. Whatever has happened, at some point you have forgotten your why, and you need to remind yourself. So that's why in previous episodes, you've heard me say, write down your why. This is for that reason. Second point, second thing to do, find out what you're doing wrong. Let me repeat that. Find out what you're doing wrong. This is a very humbling step in this piece. Find out what you're doing wrong. I'm going to say it a third time because it's that important. Number 3, knowledge of your immediate staff. Know what your people are capable of. Know exactly what your people are capable of, and more importantly, their motivations. Because some of those people along the way, while they may have helped you build this company and or your leadership tactics, whether it be whatever, their motivations might have changed. Their capabilities might have changed. Know your people. Number 4, realistic plans and expectations. This is a step that companies I've seen mess up a lot. I've been a part of companies to where we'll roll out a plan and guarantee success and grandioseness, as I call it. Plans that are bigger almost than life itself. We're going to be great. Everything's going to be awesome. Everything's going to be tremendous. Be careful of these words and terms if you're communicating them to your teams and or stockholders and or managers, people who you answer to. Be careful of this wording. Be very careful of these plans and expectations. Number 5, execution and check-in. It's pretty much self-explanatory. Do what you said you're going to put on, do what you said you're going to do. Do what you put on paper. Check in to see how you're doing. Check in. This is important because you're checking in on not just the results, but the behaviors, the actions that are involved. The actions will drive the results. A lot of leaders forget that and have forgotten that. Somebody in the translation between these 4 companies has forgotten that. Now, a lot of you may say, hey, George, there are macroeconomics that are involved. Yes. However, control the controllable. You can control the quality a lot of times of your product, especially if you're a company like Disney. If something on Disney Plus is trash, it's trash. If a coffee from Starbucks is awful, it's awful. If it's great, it's great. If a show on Disney Plus is great, it's great. So remember to have those check-ins and to execute on that plan. And if it needs revising, revise it quickly. Let's move to our last one. Number 6, consistent recognition and accountability. Pretty much speaks for itself. Some leaders, as they grow into a company or grow into a role, as you get busier, this is a step that gets left behind once you start seeing success. Do not, under any circumstances, miss any of these steps, especially this one, because all the work that you did in those 5 steps goes to waste if you don't have this last one to button up. Celebrate the small wins as well as the big wins. Hold accountable those that have large violations as well as some of the small ones. Know your battles, but definitely recognition and accountability wraps it all up. And that brings us to our realistic leader moment. Our realistic leader moment, let's just be honest, people. I should just be calling it the real leader moment. Because this is where you do a mental introspection as to where you are in your leadership, where you are in your plan, and where you're headed to. So here's today's. By the way, this should be done very consistently and very frequently. Today's is this. Nothing worthwhile and long-lasting is built in a day. Fixing something takes a lot of work, time, and quite frankly, mental frustration. And this is where you need to decide, leaders. This is where you need to decide whether your why is built for the rebuild. On behalf of the Realistic Leadership team here, we would like to thank you for everything, and we will talk. Please like and subscribe our page, and we will talk to you soon.